So friends, we're at Wayne Newton's place. This is across the street, 3310 Casa de Shenandoah, and that is his house over there. You can see all the way down. So let's go see what we've got to do to get in and what we can see today.
Should they make the reservation?
No, I'm going over with the children right here.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can sign up. Oh, yes, Shipley. The parents. They're 6 for tonight.
They're what? Oh,
The space right here.
But not this building. This is brand new. Okay. But this little spot over here was a flower shop. Very cool. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, Wayne is a sprawling 75 years old, if you will.
He's 75.
He's 75 years old.
Still getting around pretty good.
Oh, yes.
Do you mind being on camera? Is that okay?
You'll be just fine.
Okay. So we're going through the gates.
We're going through the gate. That's James right there, who is one of our fantastic shuttle.
Hey James, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How about yourself?
I am
That's more
fantastic, my
important.
friend. I'm getting ready to go into Wayne Newton's house.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
certainly.
What can be better than that?
Let's get this party started.
That's it. You're going through the aces to the left of you. That's the mansion.
I
That's what
recognize
we're
it.
going into after we go through the museum.
Okay. It's beautiful.
From 1974 to 1976, the mansion was under construction, and it is approximately 8,700 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms and 6 baths, including the public restroom as well.
Wow.
Originally, Wayne wanted to have a car garage that went underneath it, but what happened after that didn't happen, because when they went to go down 10 feet, then they found out that, oops, we hit water, and found out that the property sits on artesian wells.
A high water table. Artesian well water.
Artesian well water. So now we're going to step off at the fantastic museum.
Awesome.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate you, my friend.
One of the first things I tell folks to do when I'm taking around in my tour, and when James gets ready to pull off, is to see the beauty of the 52 acres.
Yes, ma'am. So it's 52 acres out
52 acres.
That's a
Yeah.
large piece of property.
Absolutely. It started off as being the first original 5, if you will, 1966, when Wayne, Mom, Dad, and brother Jerry came over, coming up from Arizona. Now, you know, Wayne was from rural North Virginia, originally born and raised. They spent a little time in Ohio, Arizona, and then coming to Vegas, if you will, in 1959. But 1966, the Pecos side is when everything started. So as you can see, on this side, you have the ranch, houses, beautiful Arabian horses. Wayne is the second largest breeder of Arabians in the world.
Wow.
Absolutely. And then as we travel around to the mansion side, we're going to pass by the horse swim that's over there, also the family home, exotics, and of course the mansion. But here in the museum,
So what do you mean family home?
there was the original family home on the Pecos side.
Oh, okay.
Exactly,
Interesting.
exactly. So over here, this is the museum entrance, and the museum has been here, if you will, the 2012 period that the museum was in full bloom. And the plane that we're getting ready to go see is a 1969 Fokker. Come on with me.
Wow. So Fokker made German aircraft, or this is a German
It's from
company.
Holland.
Is it Holland?
It's from Holland.
Because I know they had aircraft in the in World War II.
Right.
Fokkers and Messerschmitts.
Right. Well, see, the Fokker here, the one from Holland, you know, there were like 5 different models.
I didn't realize that they made newer commercial, type airlines. I didn't realize that.
Well, as you can see, it's in its still beauty, and there's a big story that goes behind it too that I'd love to show you about.
Sure.
We're going through the USO, if you will, the United Services Organization, and we'll come on back down and get a few little storylines from this. But the history that goes with it, and also the different quirks that go with the stories, is just absolutely incredible. Because you see, Wayne is like a prism, if you will, because there's certainly more galaxies of him, for lack of better words, than people really imagine. And when you talk about Wayne Newton, you're also talking about humanity, not only Mr. Las Vegas, but Mr. Entertainment.
He liked to give.
He loves to give.
Yes. Amazing.
So this is starting off talking about the Fokker. Let me bring this up because the FAA had disqualified the plane for flight because of the engines.
That said that any plane that weighed as much as this one had to have different engines on it. To replace those would cost more than the plane was worth. So the plane sat in Detroit for about 3 or 4 years. It broke my heart, obviously, because we loved this airplane. But it's impossible to fly it back to Las Vegas because of all of the regulations with the FAA. But the single is gone.
And this is how they brought it home.
Oh, she has anybody seen my. We took the wings off, we took the tail off, when she was my sweet, and we trucked the whole plane back here to Las Vegas and back home.
Wow. So it went right through the gate, like, just like we just did.
Exactly. Of course, it was open back then, as you can see. Maps out.
In the Smokeville honky tonk they call the land of dreams. If she comes out strong in her birthday clothes, she has anybody seen my sweet gypsy rose? Oh baby, baby, won't you come home? As you're looking at this, it's a beautiful plane, and it's home where it needs to be.
Amazing.
And the museum followed. And the other interesting thing is the air conditioning units flow through those engines that
Really?
you see right now. Absolutely. Now this is my picture-perfect postcard moment that gives you a beautiful shot of the Acre
Yes.
52A.
Very cool. Thank you.
So when we move into the Fokker, I want to first show you the pictures of how the interior of the Fokker was originally from the Polaroid pictures right there. As you can see, it kind of reminds you of an Air Force One type of look. And then, of course, it was renovated so for everyone to be able to have access to come on through.
Right.
Through the windows, you also see that when you're coming and going out of Las Vegas, then you see the Strip. You also see Casa itself, Red Rock, Hoover Dam, and all the other wonderful things you see when you're coming and going.
That is really cool.
In the rear used to be a bedroom, if you will, but it's no longer. It's a storage area. This is the restroom with the, and we laugh and talk about and say, hey, nothing like having a little gold sink.
That's it.
But you know, they place 13 instruments and 13 instruments.
Banjos, they're right there.
Because this is a beautiful humidifier that would keep the banjos, because being wood instruments, banjos, guitars, violins, bookbindings of the wood, the ascension and descension, back and forth, do a lot to wood instruments. It could terrorize it, just like the string squash that should doing out of tune. But he always had the state of mind to make sure, like he takes care of everything else. Takes care
It
of everything
feels
apart.
great in here.
Isn't
The
it
air
beautiful?
conditioner's really.
Absolutely. And this is one of the symbols of his participation with NASA, or if you will, the Apollo missions.
The Apollo missions.
Yes,
So
this
it's
is from
Apollo 14.
1971, yes.
Wow.
That he was the sponsor of the insignias.
Really?
Oh yeah, we'll see those as we go on down the line. And of course, we always ask our guests to be pilot and co-pilot as they have a seat and take pictures of one another in the cockpit. And also it has that that Disneyland effect or Spielberg effect, whereas when you take pictures, you look like you're on the actual runway.
Yeah. Would you take my thumbs up?
Absolutely. I'd love to. And just say, Wayne. There
Wayne.
you go, because that makes you smile.
Very cool. Thank you so much. So friends, this is the cockpit of this airplane. I'm actually sitting in the pilot's seat. Amazing.
Everyone
Very
should
cool.
have one.
Yes, ma'am, no doubt. It's
But it
amazing.
is. And you can see why he wanted to keep and preserve for all of us to come and enjoy.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. It'd have been a shame for something to be done, to be scrapped.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as we walk down into the world of the USO, we're going to stop by and take a look, and I'm going to show you those insignias. And also the astronauts, who he also had wonderful, wonderful relationships with, to the point where he had said, by the way, how about sending an Arabian to the moon? Well, that kind of was, 900,000 pounds to the moon. Well, he actually did. First off, the insignias here.
So he sponsored those.
Absolutely.
That is interesting. I did not know that.
And then, this was the horse head that represented Aramis Arabians, which you are on Aramis Arabians Ranch. Aramis being Wayne's beloved horse, who was a champion, total championship of horse with the beautiful, beautiful statue, and also the fact that Aramis was the one who was sired 420 times and is the granddaddy, great-granddaddy, and all of everything that is horse here.
Wow,
that you
really?
see. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And again, with that shows with the little pendant that's there, made out of like a horse's head, that in fact an Arabian has gone to the moon.
Amazing.
Let everybody know.
That is awesome.
And of course, we both having the Thunderbirds here at Nellis Air Force Base. And as flying with the Thunderbirds, as Wayne did for 4 hours, didn't get sick or anything else. So he's got his flight helmet and then also his certificate. And it's a good thing to point out too is that he was also the one that jumped and start kicked and jumped, start kicked, if you will, the wonderful troop lounges at McCarran Airport where Wayne Newton Boulevard is. And in the troop lounges, you see, then troops can come and have something good to eat and everything else, whether they're coming or going. That's on levels 2 and now level 1 too.
Awesome. And that was something that he started.
He's the one that pushed and got it through, absolutely. And of course, the time that he was growing up, he was in ROTC and thought that, it would be kind of cool to be able to be in uniform because then all the girls would like that probably, huh? And if you will, there is, and I'd love for you, we go back to see the movie too, that is shown to everybody in regards to that talks about, at the beginning when he talks about Vietnam and taking over the celebrity circle as the ambassador of it from Bob Hope. Bob Hope was, of course, the one who was spearheaded the USO, or United Services Organization, for a long time. And then in 2000, that's when Wayne was passed that gauntlet. And from Vietnam all the way to Afghanistan, and today he still is the responsible for that. Absolutely.
Incredible.
All the beautiful flight jackets that you see from all the different branches.
Oh, that is from a helicopter.
Helicopter blade on top of that. And during the war, that particular year, they used to take them and pull the blades together so they could line up as many helicopters as possible.
Exactly.
On the aircraft carriers to, depending on what the mission was.
Yeah, you'd see them where they were pulled together and tied.
Absolutely.
And those are wood.
Right, exactly.
Boy, that's scary.
The full remembrance of 9/11 and the young man whose dad made sure and sent that picture over of his son who was tragically killed. John Stamos, Neil McCoy, Paul Rodriguez, Gary Sinise, Alyssa Milano, so many others who were a part and continue to be a part of the tours, and Kid Rock who was up there for the USO tours. Wayne also would go over and see the children, and take over like little bracelets and things like that to them, red, white, and blue, and let people know that, you know what, Americans are okay, and let them get that understanding. And then he and Neil McCoy and Gary Sinise actually saying, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine," to them. And they said as they walked away, the children took the bracelets with them. So they figured that they had made that connection of kindness. And humanity, talking about that, Wayne was over, and you see all the beautiful troops that are here? Well, they thought that Wayne was doing a show. Well, he wasn't. He was there doing a video for the USO, like a DVD project, and ended up that they were like, "Oh my God, but you're not performing?" No, but if anybody has a guitar, tell you what, let me know. This young man jumped up, "I got a guitar." He went and got the guitar, came back, and they did MTV Unplugged for an hour and a half.
Wow.
He played while Wayne sang. And then Wayne found out after he came home, he found out a couple weeks later that the young man had been killed in action.
Oh, Lord.
So Wayne, as he always says, he says his heart fell to the floor. He had to plug it back into his heart again, in his body and soul, and created a DVD for his family, called his mom, and told her about the DVD, sent it to her, and she was one of the first ones to come and actually tour in the museum piece here. And we never walked past this case without talking about that young man.
Incredible story.
There's so many.
Yeah, oh,
There's
I'm
so
sure.
many. There's so many. But what makes it fun is that you can truly relate to each and every one of them. And looking in this wall here,
Congressional Medal of
the
Honor.
Congressional Medal of Honor was bestowed upon him by Ronald Reagan. Of course, who was
And Ronald Reagan would stay here.
And Ronald Reagan, President
They say
Reagan.
that that's why they built the wall around this.
President
was because
Reagan.
Reagan was coming.
Well, one
Now
thing
that's the
about
story
it.
I've been told. Now I don't know if that's true.
Well, that's kind of one on me. We'd have to ask Wayne about that. But I
Okay.
can tell you this, though, that President Reagan did come and speak here.
Yeah.
He came and spoke here in 1980, and he and Wayne, and you know, when you talk about him and the other presidents that he had relationships with, like 7 other presidents, including President Trump, who he was at his inaugural, you can also state, too, the fact that they were horse people in regards to the Reagans, Nancy Davis, in regards to the Kennedys, and so forth and so on. So,
Exactly.
you know, it really made that interest all come together. And daughters of the mother of the American Revolution. We've got the silver helmet here. We just have so many awards, and also the Spirit of USO Award presented to him.
So he's really giving back. That's
He's
incredible.
really giving back. And the MP case that's here, you see that disc right there? That's one of the last discs cut from the Vietnam Wall.
Wow.
That was bestowed upon him. And as it reads right here, it says how the flag was also flown in honor of Wayne Newton's family. And that was for the state. Oh, you got to get a shot of this. This is one of my favorite pictures. I love him in the red.
And the beret.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So moving and grooving along again, President Reagan and all the invitations and everything else. Wayne, like so many other entertainers at the time, especially Wayne, you know, they did the turnstile at the White House because there was always so much going on. And remember telegrams and mailgrams? That's always a new thing too. To some people say, oh my goodness, I remember that.
That was the way back then.
That was the way. And when he would perform there, he would perform with the gold mic, and red being his favorite color, he would perform with the carnation and the month and the rest. Of course, beautiful Nancy Davis Reagan, he would make sure that she had flowers every single year for her birthday, and he was the official pallbearer there for President Reagan's funeral. And of course, jolly old Jelly Bellies, don't forget them. You can't speak Ronald Reagan, not talk about Jelly Bellies.
That's true.
Supreme Court Justice, the infamous picture, quite naturally, of Jackie and Jack. And going through here, there's the beautiful picture of Wayne and his beautiful wife, Kathleen. Oh my goodness, they're going on so many years. It's wonderful. And there's also a letter from President Nixon thanking Wayne for being a friend during that time.
75.
Absolutely.
So that's after all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And all the different beautiful pieces that you can get when you go to the White House to have that official seal on there, and all the different meanings, even down to the pins.
Yep, they'll give you the pins that the presidents have.
How many pins? There were
That's
800
right.
pins. And then over here, they were also given the blessings by the popes for both Wayne and Lady Kathleen. Of course, they don't, you know, like, oh, come on, with that Lady Kathleen. But over here is a very special story about Captain William J. Metzger, who was shot down. He was, like he said, a hot dog, fighter pilot, naval fighter pilot, and he was shot down and injured. His leg was injured, but he became a part of the Hanoi Hilton Club.
So he was
7 years.
MIA.
And that cup right there is the cup of kindness.
Yeah, that-
And he, in turn, borrowed that from his friend, or got it from his friend, his buddy, and said, you know, can I have this? He said, yeah, but it has a hole in it. He said, that's okay. So he remedied it by taking a piece of his shoe and stuck it into the side of the hole, as you can see right in the hole. And I'm so sure the only thing you could be walking around in those days are thongs. So that had to be the piece that he had to put in there. And he ate and drank out of that for over close to 7 years.
Wow.
So he met Wayne at a function with President Reagan, and later on said, I'm going to send you this cup. And of course, Wayne said, "Oh my goodness, who's the hero here? Right?
Yeah.
Who's the one here?" And she figured in his heart that he had done so much to service all the service people that was something that he should have. So he sent it to him. And the cup of kindness is just that. And Wayne, in his own words, says every time he looks at it, it just reminds him of how much and how great it is to be an American. And so we say, our motto over here is to say that if anything happens, get our guests, boo, the horse, everybody out. But don't forget that cup of kindness. I always say, don't forget your freedom.
Amen. Yeah. Some people gave all, as it were.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you're here at the
So
toy
this is the
store.
garage.
This is the garage, if you will, of his fantastic antique car collection. And not really, I would say antique. I think they're hipper than anything that could be brought out at this point.
No doubt.
This is the toolbox, and in fact, there's some tools in it that are used on these cars that are driven on a regular basis and maintained. And you see the garage doors behind them. Yep, they actually open. And then the keys and the remotes and everything else.
Everything's still in there.
Everything is intact. And you could take it almost brand new cars, pulling them right off the lot. And each of them has their own description of exactly what the details are about them. But we just talk about the stories. So we talk about the story about the limo that Wayne will actually drive that. And I'll tell you what, if you see him on the street, honk the horn and say, "Wayne, put your window down." The next car is the beautiful sedan that he had purchased, actually, if you will, in pounds. Because when he performed for Queen Elizabeth, it was this one and also a roadster down here that we'll show you that he purchased to have this beautiful machine here.
So he bought these in England and had them brought over.
Absolutely.
Wow.
The next thing we know to rock and roll with the beautiful corniche here, the black on black and black over black under black Steve McQueen,
I love
if you will, right there.
That
The other thing to
convertible
know
top.
too is that these are special toppers and they are dipped in the beautiful painted gold, if you will. And if they're ever found in a chop shop, guess who they belong to? So needless to say, better leave them alone. The beautiful silver cloud here was given to Wayne by his brother Jerry. And Jerry, of course, passed away last year, if you will. And this beautiful, beautiful cloud, it's the silver cloud, has a body that is made out of a particular aluminum alloy. And the alloy itself, you don't want to drive it when it's too hot or too cold or it'll ruin the paint to the body.
Really? Because it moves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is that gorgeous or what?
That is beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Amazing looking.
And one of Wayne's favorite actresses, or actors, I like to say sometimes, was Katharine Hepburn. And you know what? This is Gertrude. Gertrude from On Golden Pond.
Wow.
With Kate Hepburn, of course, and Hank Fonda and Jane Fonda. Great movie. Also, you see also bookending against the walls over there are a lot of Wayne's outfits over the years, his costumes outfits over the year. And like Liberace, he also has some that are just the one zip liner that you step in and out since they had so many costume
Changes, yeah.
Now here's one for the ages. This Essex Terraplane 8. This was the original one that Wayne had. And then, of course, over the years, just like with relationships and everything else, somewhere along the line, you lose and it goes away. Well, one of Wayne's friends in Roanoke, Virginia, where Wayne is from, actually found one and had it restored in his favorite color. The only thing that's not open is the jump seat that's in the back. This Essex Terraplane, 1933, is worth more value than everything.
Really? Even the roses?
It's one of a kind. It's one of a kind.
Wow.
Because the other one supposedly is no longer in existence, as we know. Gone with the Wind was one of his mom's favorite all-time movies. In fact, she took some of her costuming ideas that she used to make the outfits for them when they were younger as he and his brother, a part of her creations. And in this case, he got this couch for his mom, which, in regards to his mom, which Gone with the Wind, which of course was shot in Culver City, the MGM studio area, where I'm from Los Angeles, so I remember the lot very, very well. And Vivian Lee used to take her timeouts in between breaks, in between filming.
Really,
and
on
sitting
there?
on his couch. So that was one that he put there for us to see and enjoy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that where the where that place was that you're talking about is now like a shopping mall or something.
Right. Well, Culver City went through a whole renovation.
Yeah.
Because I live not too far from there, so they went through a whole big.
Whole
And of
bunch
course,
of
we
stuff.
also know that The Wizard of Oz also
Was filmed there. That's exactly right.
Exactly. There we go.
Incredible.
Moving and grooving along from the 6th grade to the 8th grade, this was his ride. This was the
Wow.
real ride, that Schwinn.
Now, of course, it's been restored.
And of course, it's been restored, but this is the Schwinn. And I'll tell you what, this is quite naturally an early one, but it's lovely to go take guests through and talk about the Schwinn because everybody had an opportunity with the Schwinn, even down to even bringing with the playing cards and the clothespins.
Putting them in there.
Right.
Who restored that? Do you know?
I do not know who restored that.
It looks like a rich restoration.
Isn't it beautiful?
Mm-hmm. It looks like a brand new bike.
Isn't it beautiful?
Incredible.
Take it out anytime.
Yes, ma'am.
Next on the line here is the last of the drum set that was given to and made for and given to Wayne by the fabulous Louis Bellson. Louis Bellson, who was married to the magnificent Miss Pearl Bailey. And Wayne could play the 13 instruments, but that was the only instrument he had to learn how to actually be taught how to play, and that was the drums. And he was so impressed, as was Jack Benny, when Wayne picked up the violin, that he actually had the set made, and that's the end of the set.
That's amazing.
Now, this outfit here, which was worn by Dorothy Christian as Louise Hager during the final trio, which is regards to the great Caruso, and it's not about the size 0 as we like to say with the waist and everything, it's more about the fact that Caruso himself was the man when it came to circular breathing. So to this day, people like Pavarotti, even down to Kenny G, circular breathing, he studied as an art. And arguably, Caruso was probably one of the greatest opera singers in the whole wide world. But having that technique and knowing the technique is even documented in a lot of the books written about Caruso. So that is the significance behind the dress.
Interesting.
Next is Big Eyes. I call it Big Eyes personally because this is the roadster that went along with the sedan from Queen Elizabeth performance piece. And I call it Big Eyes because it kind of has big headlights. Big
Giants.
eyes. And one of the surprising things about it is if the engine starts getting a little hot, well, you see, this piece here actually would open up and become its own cooling system, if you will. And the greatest thing about this car as well, it has air conditioning. I mean, not the air conditioning, it has the cruise control. Bite my tongue.
Cruise control.
Cruise control on it.
Right,
That
which
makes
was-
it even grander after that. There was the air conditioning, though, opening that top.
So I see Johnny Cash right
Country
there.
royalty. Country royalty, Johnny Cash.
And so I'm from Hendersonville, where I just filmed Johnny's mom and dad's house
Oh, fantastic.
just weeks ago.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I live in that
Fantastic.
town
You
where
live in
Johnny
that
lived.
town.
I live in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Fantastic. Well, I got to tell you, this particular car was custom for Johnny with 6 feet and 4 inches and all the rest of that stuff. It's great for anybody with 6 inches and 2 inches of hair, or whatever the case may be. And Wayne says the best sitting car. Look at that bass line that goes all the way back. Beautiful. Wayne didn't always buy cars sight unseen, but this particular one he did. And when he did, got in the car and found out, had a little plaque in there that said it belonged to Lee, as in Liberace Lee.
Oh, really?
There it is, right there.
Very cool.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It is. He's got quite
The collection.
collection of roses. Yes, he does.
Next on down the line, you know, entertainers back in the day used to do and perform what they call the triangle. That was Reno, Tahoe, Vegas. Reno, Tahoe, Vegas. Reno, Tahoe, Vegas. But one of the great, great hotel owners and casino owners is from Harris Hotels. So this was William Harris, or Bill Harris' car. At that time, too, with this car, he married a superstar at the time, singer Bobby Joe Gentry, who had the song out,
Son of a
Ode
Pre-
to Billy Joe.
That's right, Ode to Billy
That's
Joe.
right, Ode to Billy Joe. And they got married. The marriage lasted that long. And in doing so, he decided this was not the car he wanted to keep. So Wayne was on the scene, and end of report.
Grabbed it.
Now,
That is an odd looking
that's an
Mercedes.
odd-looking Mercedes, and I gotta tell you though, this Mercedes, everything you see is gold, like Shirley Bassey was saying, if she loves gold, this is gold. It was originally constructed to be, or if you will, built for a diplomat, but he did not pick it up, or whatever the case may be. It's about 12,000 miles approximately on it, and the top of it actually retracts back into the trunk. And like they say, Coachworks had it designed so that instead of having to lift it up, leave it at home, and you're out driving, it starts raining, and you got to go back and get it, put it back. They had it constructed so it's just one hand to be able to pull the trunk and it goes back. And of course, the fiery redhead is just that, Lucille Ball. Here's Lucy, that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Woody, the LeBaron Woody that she would drive around into the dusty towns, or straight off into the market, or straight off into Bullocks or Box, or wherever you want to call it, because of the fact that she could drive or ride with no makeup on. And nobody would recognize her. Nobody would recognize her.
That is interesting. You would never expect to see a superstar like that in a car.
Well, you know, coming from Los Angeles, and you should know too, from Nashville, everybody rode around all the time.
Oh yeah, you just don't know.
And so it would make it very, very interesting, but that's how she did her work. And then a friend of Wayne's, and this is the Friends and Family tour, of course, purchased quite a few of these Hummers, which were the last ones that rolled off the assembly line. And in fact, he turned around and said, you know, this is great. He said, what you think? He said, I like that. He said, how much? How much do you think Wayne paid for this car from this? Just take a guess.
Oh, there were, what, 50,000? 60, 70, 80, 90, 100? Oh, really? 10, 20? Nothing? $100?
You got to move paper, so it had to be $1. And
$1.
they threw it, and then they threw in the toolbox.
Wow. Oh, really? So the toolbox came
That's it.
with
So,
this deal, too.
So you can sing with me right now. That's what friends. Oh, it's okay.
That's it. That's incredible.
How about that? And of course,
The Hollywood
the
star.
Walk of Fame. You got it. And did you know that you also get a star? You get the piece of the rock to go along with it.
Really?
Now Wayne, ironically though, when he got the star, he says in his book that especially that when he went to actually pull it up to see the star, he said, now I just know this is not the end of my career. Because it seemed to him, it signified being the end of his career. So he had to put it back down and kind of walk away from it. And he said, well, I got plenty more to do. The Rascals of Rhythm, there they are. Wayne and Jerry. Starting on out. There's Mom.
And Jerry is his brother.
There's Jerry is his brother right there. And then we have Evelyn, and then there's Dad Patrick. And everything that had to do with entertainment down to back to those gold shoes, the love of horses, thoroughbreds, and also all the other life until, of course, Aramis came on the scene. Then everything changed as far as horses was concerned. But the beautiful pictures in regards to his signing. See, he didn't have to be in the service. He actually had the girls at that point like that. And then all the instruments. And after his mom had passed too, he had to go through a chest. And when he opened the chest, he found out that she had retained the outfits that
from when they were
designed
kids.
from when they were kids. And I was telling you about that Gone with the Wind piece, right? The influence, as it reads right here, that she actually took the fringe from a pair of curtains that hung in their home because of the fact that she saw it on with the movie.
That's funny. That's incredible.
Isn't that something? Isn't that beautiful?
It's amazing.
Isn't that beautiful? And then good friend, Neil McCoy, put this together for Laura, created this for Laura. And it has all the different songs like Donkey Shane and Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast, all the different titles of all of that. And then as we move around over here, we'll come on back around. You know, he had so many beautiful, beautiful friends. And from everything being the country bumpkin on the Lucille Ball show to Andy the ranch hand that was on Bonanza all those years. Of course, Jerry Lewis, who we just lost, Andy Williams. We used to laugh and talk about Andy Williams, Wayne Newton, the Osmonds, Jackson 5. That's the show I'm watching, right? That type of thing.
Well, we saw Donnie and Marie, and they really talked about Andy Williams as the reason that they have a career. career.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And of course, Ed Sullivan, what can you say about him? The Duke, Laura Bacall, the Count. That Count Basie there, Barbara Mandrell, what a talent.
Yeah, she lives in Nashville.
Right, she lives in Nashville too. Diana Show, going all the way down the line, there's Jim Neighbors, of course Bob Hope, and the relationship that he had with Nat King Cole. They were at the Copacabana together. And Wayne was in the lounge, Nat was in the main showroom, and Nat would come down and he would applaud him. He never criticized him. He was always there for him. And from that relationship, they said that he became wonderful friends. And upon his passing, his wife Maria, who also had passed away several years ago, brought his watch with the time stopped that he passed and his makeup kit.
Wow.
So that's what that is right there. And of course, thanks for the memory, Bob Hope. What can you say about Bob Hope that hasn't been said before? But truly, between him and then Bobby Darin and Jackie Gleason and all that, that was huge.
Amazing.
Nipsey Russell. Oh, read that. That's funny.
Said the flying eagle to the peacock, it was finally come to pass. Paleface spoke with lying tongue, and the Indian scalped his beep.
From 1980 to 1983, Wayne owned the Aladdin Hotel, which of course is now Planet Hollywood.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And Frank Sinatra, of course, stopped his orchestra and said, "I'll be right back," and came over here to the Aladdin and actually toasted him, and that's the glass and everything else that happened that night, and the way the mic and everything that was utilized, and the fact also that Frank Sinatra never forgot Wayne's birthday. And here is a wonderful piece right here that simply says, "Dear Engine," on this microphone, "I got started with one of these when you were just a papoose." Much love. That is beautiful Barbara and Old Blue Eyes, and of course we lost her too as well. But very challenging experience, but however, a wonderful experience. And as you can see, he has the beautiful eagle belt buckle that's on him right there.
Yes.
And that's right here, I'll show you that too.
Over there. Okay.
And then everybody was way older than he, but however, Elvis, 7 years older than he. Good friends. He talked about the time that Elvis was in his dressing room, and and he came off the stage, Wayne that is, and said, "Hey, what you doing?" Because he said he had this big old Star of David on his chest, big old Star of David, and he said, "Hey, what you doing with that Star of David?" He said, "I mean, you're Southern Baptist like I am." And of course, later Wayne converted to Catholicism, and he said, "Well, I didn't want to be left out."
Yeah, on a technicality.
On a technicality is absolutely right. You know the line.
Yes.
And then, of course, the letter.
Oh, yes. Written
Elvis
on
letter.
Hilton Stationery. Yeah, I'm doing a story on the Colonel
Oh, is
as
that
well.
right?
Yeah, I was involved. They actually tore the Colonel's house down in Madison, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville recently, and I was involved in
Gotcha.
the recovery of the stuff before
Okay.
it all went to the dump.
Gotcha. Well, you know, and he also still has a place in the Las Vegas Country Club estate. You know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where his wife lives, I'm assuming.
That's all I know about.
That's there behind the Hilton there in that
Exactly.
in
Exactly.
the place the mob built.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.